Get softer, smoother, and more even-toned skin after just one use with the new Gentle Exfoliating line from Cetaphil. Formulated with a unique triple acid blend that promotes surface skin cell renewal, these gentle chemical exfoliators remove dead skin cells and refine skin's texture while hydrating, resulting in softer, smoother, more even-looking skin. Shop the new Cetaphil Gentle Exfoliating line in the face and body aisles at your local Target store or online at cetaphil.com.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. With Cybersecurity Awareness Month winding down, LifeLock wants to remind you to update your software. These updates will patch up security issues that identity thieves can exploit to gain access to your personal info. For comprehensive identity theft protection, there's LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to more uses of your personal info and fixes issues that arise. Protect your identity today with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com/podcast.
Max Bankman, I'm the new doctor.
Welcome aboard the Odyssey.
ABC Thursdays.
This ship is heaven. We're tending to our passengers' dreams.
I'm in.
From 911 executive producer Ryan Murphy comes a splashy new drama on a luxury cruise ship with Joshua Jackson and Don Johnson.
It's your job to keep everyone alive.
She's in VFib. 1, 2, 3. Clear.
I have a pulse.
You're going to be okay.
Dr. Odyssey. Thursdays, 9/8 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Warning, the following documentary contains intense content. Listener discretion is advised. It's November 13th, 2022. Just after 4 a.m., a man dressed in black slides opens an unlocked glass door. The door leads directly into the kitchen on the second floor of a student house. The address is 1122 King Road in the city of Moscow, Idaho. He steps into the darkened kitchen and decisively heads towards the stairs leading up to the third floor of the house.
He travels up a small stairwell to the top floor where Maddie and Kaylee are.
It's now around 4:15 a.m. In one of the rooms on the third floor, best friends Maddie Mogan, 21, and Kaylee Gonsalves, 21, are asleep in the same bed. The man in black enters the room. In his hand, he holds a hunting knife that can slice a watermelon in half with a single swipe.
Kaylee and Maddie are stabbed to death.
The man then goes down to the second floor of the house. In one of the rooms are 20-year-old Ethan Chapin and his girlfriend, 20-year-old Xana Kernodle. They are also stabbed to death.
But these stabs are not what you think of when you think stabs. They are horrifically long gashes, big tears, large open wounds.
Around 4:20 a.m., the man starts the engine of his car, a white Hyundai Elantra, and quickly drives away. He leaves behind a trail of blood and death. Somewhere, a dog barks.
In and out. But he made one mistake.
Yes, there's something he left behind.
Somehow, he had either dropped it or it had been ripped from his person.
You're listening to the Idaho Student Murders, a 4-part documentary about the brutal murders of Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. This series is produced by Gabriella Lahti, and my name is Jonathan Rollins. And if you like this series, don't forget to follow Crime by PodLit, where you can find our other podcasts and get updates when new episodes of this series are released. This is Chapter 1, The Party House. We return to November 13th, 2022, when Kaylee Gonsalves, Maddie Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin were brutally murdered at 1122 King Road. But first, let's introduce the author, J. Reuben Appelman, or Jay, as he's called. He lives in Boise, Idaho, and has written a book about the case titled While Idaho Slept. Jay will guide us through this entire story, which takes place in the college town of Moscow, Idaho.
For Idaho potatoes, Spuddy Buddy!
If there's one thing Idaho is known for, it's potatoes. Idaho produces about 1/3 of the nation's total potato harvest, making the state the largest potato producer in the country. Idaho is located in the northwestern United States. The landscape is focused on nature with plenty of mountains, forests, and lakes. In addition to potatoes and natural experiences, there is significant growth in the tech sector, especially in the capital, Boise, where several tech companies have established themselves. Idaho is also known for having strict laws and penalties.
A very conservative state, very tough on crime state, very police-friendly state, very military-friendly state, very right and wrong type of state. There's not much gray area in the state of Idaho.
Quality? Nobody but Idaho potatoes, babe!
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. With Cybersecurity Awareness Month winding down, LifeLock wants to remind you to update your software. These updates will patch up security issues that identity thieves can exploit to gain access to your personal info. For comprehensive identity theft protection, there's LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to more uses of your personal info and fixes issues that arise. Protect your identity today with a 30-day free trial at lifelock.com/podcast.
Streaming only on Peacock.
Being with Finch felt like I was in some fairy tale.
She's like, I write for Grey's Anatomy. I was like, what?
Her writing was so highly regarded because Finch had been through so much.
A Hollywood writer's life.
When you love somebody, you'll ignore red flags so they're hitting you in the head.
Filled with fiction.
She would do whatever it takes to get ahead.
She's sort of like a TV series.
I don't know who my wife is.
Anatomy of Lies. Streaming October 15th. Only on Peacock.
It was all a lie.
In Moscow, there's a small town feel. It's a safe place with unlocked doors. The university is the heart of the town, creating life, movement, and community. Throughout the semesters, various activities and sports events are always happening at the University of Idaho, or U of I, as it's called. And there's constant life and movement in the small town.
To understand the effect of all of these people parachuting into this place, you have to understand the relative smallness of Moscow, Idaho. During the school year, there are roughly 25,000 people in this little nook that exists between the mountains up north. When school is out, there's roughly half of that. So this is a really small place.
And when it comes to the student life of U of I, Greek life is very big. Greek life represents the active engagement that many students have in various student organizations or clubs.
The Greek system is very similar to any club system, any exclusive club system where you have to be liked enough to join. You have to be popular enough to stay in it. And through these clubs, you gain connections in your adult life.
Many of these social student organizations use Greek letters as their names, such as Alpha Phi, Sigma Chi, or Delta Gamma. You might recognize them from popular culture. The letters represent the organization's motto, values, and core principles inspired by Greek culture and philosophy. So when we talk about Greek life at a university in the U.S., we're referring to the life and activities within these organizations. Nearly a quarter of the students at U of I are members of these clubs, called fraternities for guys and sororities for girls.
And they very frequently are the center of campus party culture. If you want to go to a raging party, it's most likely going to be at a fraternity house.
During the fall semester of 2022, Maddie Mogan, Xana Kernodal, Kaylee Gonsalves, and Ethan Chapin are all students at U of I. They're all active in Greek life. They're popular, good-looking, and have that sparkle in their eyes that hints at lively lives filled with friends and parties. Maddie, Kaylee, and Xana all live in the house at 1122 King Road. On the top floor, Maddie and Kaylee each have their own bedroom. They've been friends since the 6th grade.
Maddie Mogan and Kaylee Gonsalves have been friends since junior high, where they went to a charter school together in Coeur d'Alene, which is a beautiful area in North Idaho. Many Hollywood stars get their second homes in Coeur d'Alene. It's wooded and rich with waterways and lakes and mountain terrain that is just the stuff of movies.
Much lighter news, could a Coeur d'Alene Golf Club be the next hot retreat for Hollywood stars and celebs? Well, you may recall last week it appeared Kim Kardashian was vacationing at Gaza Ranch.
Pop singer Harry Styles was reportedly there as well, along with rumors that Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez were also in the area.
The city of Coeur d'Alene in northern Idaho is surrounded by beautiful forests and mountains. Middle-class families who appreciate the city's natural beauty, community, and outdoor life live here. But Hollywood celebrities are also drawn to the exclusive areas by Lake Coeur d'Alene. It's in this city that Maddie and Kaylee attend middle and high school together. They're described by people around them as each other's ride or die, and over the years, they've developed a near sisterhood. Kaylee's father, Steve Gonsalves, tells KTVB about the girls' strong bond.
They were beyond sisters, because sisters are you kind of forced to get along. They were just like yin and yang.
Here's Kaylee's mother, Christy Gonsalves, on 48 Hours.
I think that they had a very amazing relationship. The epitome of true best friends from very early. They were sisters through and through.
Maddie comes from a less privileged background than Kaylee. From a very young age, Kaylee's family took in Maddie Mogan as one of their own. And you can see this on years-long Instagram posts where Maddie is always on vacation with Kaylee's family.
They visit tropical places.
They're in international places.
They're everywhere and nowhere.
Maddie is always just one of the girls in Kaylee's family.
They belong to Generation Z, and much of their communication takes place openly on social media. On Instagram, for example.
Hey, why is your mom calling my mom? And these are just like teenagers covering their tracks. You can tell that Maddie and Kaylee are tight, they're young, they're commenting on each other's outfits, supporting each other at events, all of this chronicled on social.
They do everything together. Get their driver's license together, go to prom together, study at U of I together, and live together. They're young, happy, and America's sweethearts beautiful.
They not only look the part of popular girls, smiling, their eyes twinkling, their clothes nice, their hair streaked the way they want it streaked, their nails done, but based on the comments on their posts and on their social network, you can tell that they are actually lovable and popular and magnetic in their circles.
Parallel to her studies at the University of Idaho, Maddie works off campus at Mad Greek, a small, family-owned restaurant in downtown Moscow. Xana Kernodle, 20 years old, also works there. Xana's bedroom is located on the second floor of the house on King Road. Her boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, 20, often stays over. He lives in a house nearby. Ethan is a triplet and was the firstborn of the three brothers. He's tall, 6'4", and skilled at basketball, loves to crack jokes, and is described as a big teddy bear. Growing up, he lived with his family in Washington, but also spent a lot of time in northern Idaho.
Ethan Chapin's family has a second home in that area on Priest Lake. And North Idaho is not what people think around the world, poor and roughneck, but there is a lot of wealth up there based on generations of land holdings.
Northern Idaho has had a reputation for being poor, but many who live there have become wealthy through large land estates passed down through generations. Ethan's family has a beautiful summer home there. He is Xana Kernodle's first love. The couple have been inseparable for a year.
Ethan Chapin's girlfriend, Xana Kernodle, comes from a different part of the tracks. Her family has struggled with drug addictions and drug-related incarcerations.
Xana grew up in Post Falls, northern Idaho. During her childhood, she and her sister spent a lot of time with their aunt, as their parents had a troubled relationship with drugs. Xana practiced gymnastics and is described as smart, driven, and funny. A source of joy who lived each day as if it were her last.
And so, on the one hand, Ethan Chapin, who is 6'4", and the tiny Xana Kernodle, a gymnast throughout high school and middle school, make an unlikely pair. Not just physically, he's huge, she's tiny, but socially, she comes from a rougher background, and he comes from a very privileged background.
In addition to Maddie, Kaylee, and Xana, 2 other roommates live in the student house at 1122 King Road. We'll come back to them later because they will play an important role in this story.
The University of Idaho has a very strong party culture, and the house itself sits in one of the many cul-de-sacs of that party culture.
An important part of university life and Greek life is parties. The King Road house is therefore perfect as a student house. It can accommodate many guests. The house is large, white, and boxy. It looks somewhat clunky.
It is a strangely constructed house. It's 3 stories with what would be known as the basement opening out to the street because it's built on a hillside. And the second floor, what appears to be the second floor, is actually the main floor of the residence. And then on top, you have bedrooms. But the house is stacked in an angular fashion, so it's sort of like a crooked rectangle on a crooked rectangle on a crooked rectangle.
Because this house is built on a slope, the main entrance from the parking lot looks more like a basement entrance. On the second floor, there's the living room and the kitchen, with a sliding glass door that opens to a patio. The house is located in a neighborhood with many student residences off campus. It's evident that the area is a haven for students. Sofas have been dragged outside, perhaps during a party, but never brought back in. Christmas decorations are up all year round. In the house at 1122 King Road, one such sofa sits outside the entrance on the second floor. In one of the bedroom windows on the top floor, a pair of pink cowboy boots can be seen. They belong to Maddie. In another window, a neon sign inside the house glows. Good vibes, it reads.
And this group of students that existed in this house were frequent partiers.
Living at 1122 King Road means you like to party. The student house is known for its parties. The house is a social hub, and it always has been. Roommates come and go, but the party house remains.
And the house has always been known as, quote, a party house. For decades, different generations of students have used this house for partying. It's very close to what they call Greek Row, which is where the fraternity and sorority houses are.
The house at 1122 King Road is also known to the police, who've knocked on its door a number of times. One of those times was 3 months before the murders, on August 16th, 2022.
It's a late afternoon, the sun is out, the police are called because of noise violations being reported.
The police's body cam films everything. The police knock on the sliding glass door that leads to the second floor of the house, the same door that 3 months later will be opened by a masked man with a gigantic knife.
And their body cam footage shows that they spoke to Kaylee Gonsalves.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Is this your place?
Yeah.
Perfect. You know why we're here?
And I assume noise.
Noise, yeah.
Yeah.
Big speaker right there?
Yeah.
Nothing against having a party. Once neighbors start calling in, then we have an issue.
Fair.
She's on the patio speaking to them, where the slider is behind her, and sunlight is hitting her in her eyes, and she's squinting, speaking to the police, promising to turn the music down.
It's Kaylee who comes out to talk to the police, who explain to her that the neighbors have complained about loud music. Kaylee promises to make sure the noise level is reduced.
If I do have to come back here, a $300-some ticket's coming your way.
Okay.
I'd much rather you spend that $300 on beer or something fun than a noise ticket, right?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Promising that she'll take care of whatever shenanigans are going on inside that caused the noise complaint.
So, any questions for me?
No.
All right. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
It's a short and undramatic encounter. Kaylee doesn't seem particularly worried or nervous, and the police are satisfied with her response.
She looks like most college girls. Her hair has blonde streaks in it. The sunlight shows the sparkle in her eyes. She's handling the cops in a professional, friendly way, and they tell her to just keep it down, and they leave.
A few weeks later, the police are back. Neighbors have complained again about the loud music.
It's 8 o'clock at night. Very early, but the house is already banging with people drinking and noise and music. And the police knock on the door.
We're only here for a noise complaint. Come to the damn door.
Finally, a couple of teenage boys open the door. They say that none of the people who live in the house are home right now. The police ask the boys to try to get a hold of one of the residents. Soon, one of the boys comes out again and hands over a phone with a glowing screen
that displays the name of Maddie Mogan on it, because they've placed a call to Maddie Mogan, one of the people on the lease for the house.
All right, can you hear me, Maddie?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. The reason that we're here is that we received a noise complaint of loud music, partying.
The police take Maddie's information and then explain that the house is full of people who don't live there. She must make sure they lower the music and stop the noise.
She says that she will make sure everything calms down, and she will take responsibility for this, and they give her this warning that says, basically, you can't have all these people partying in your house and you not be here. And she apologizes, and she says thank you, and she has this amicable ending with the police in that moment.
And we don't want to come back again tonight. If we have to come back again tonight, then there's going to be even more problems, okay?
I see both sides.
Sounds good. I'm just frustrated. I'm also so sorry once again.
Hey, I understand, okay? It's just, I mean, if I were you guys, I'd probably just come home and make sure that whoever is partying here is keeping it down to a minimum, okay?
But just 4 hours later, around midnight, the police show up again. This time, it's Xana who opens the door.
You can see on body cam footage that she's slightly drunk. Her voice is slurred a little bit, but she's respectful.
Hello, miss. What's your name?
Xana.
Okay. The police explain to Xana that this is the second time that evening they've come by the house.
I sincerely apologize about that. I'm just going to bed.
Okay.
She apologizes to the police for the noise. She says she's going to kick everybody out of the house, and the police give her a warning. She thanks them, and the police go on their way.
Xana closes the white front door, which is decorated with a Christmas wreath, even though it's only the beginning of September.
And so we have all this body cam footage of the police showing up to the house.
The next time the house at 1122 King Road is in the spotlight, it's not just through the police's body cam,
but through the lens of the entire world, pointing at it, observing the storm of media.
In just 2 months, the house will be surrounded by the police, TV crews, reporters, YouTubers, and TikTokers. They'll film the neon sign on the house, good vibes, and they'll photograph the blood running down the side of the house, outside Xana's bedroom.
Observing those blood drips that run down the back of the house and chronicling these murders in a town no bigger than a fingerprint on the earth, but with a presence that becomes massive.
In the next chapter of the Idaho Student Murders. On November 12th, it begins as just an ordinary Saturday for the students in the house at 1122 King Road.
Security camera footage from the corner club shows them socializing, drinking beer, and having a good time.
But it ends in tragedy.
She can hear somebody in Xana's bedroom is crying.
What are Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan doing in their final hours and minutes of life?
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
They are seen and heard to drunkenly order some food.
What is the killer doing?
With a black mask over his mouth and nose, and he's walking toward her bedroom.
And what does he accidentally leave behind? You have listened to the first chapter of the Idaho Student Murders. The documentary was produced by Gabriella Lahti. Sound design and final mix is done by Tomas Rajnai and Jens Nielsen. Executive producer is Tove Leffler, and my name is Jonathan Rollins. And if you like this series, don't forget to follow Crime by PodLit, where you can find our other podcasts and be notified when a new episode of this series is released. The clips you heard in this episode are from the YouTube channels Law and Crime Network, Shoto Cancun, Crim 2 News, KTVB, and 48 Hours.